Hey, and goodness, not knowing whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening that you're watching this broadcast, but it's always good. This is Sporty King coming to you on Friday with Gift Friday. So, welcome. I created Gift Friday because so often we hear TGIT, thank God, TGIF, thank God it's Friday. I'm on the road today. So, you see, I'm trying to rush, breathe. We hear TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. But I say, what allure does Friday have to that person that took their last breath on Thursday or any day before that for that matter? So I use what I've learned through Psalm 92 and 2. And that is, it is good to proclaim your unfailing love in the morning, your faithfulness in the evening. In other words, I use TGIT. Thank God it's today. And then TGIT. Thank God it's tonight. Thus, what I've learned from Matthew 6 and 34. So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will have its own worries. Today's trouble is enough for today. And that's why TGIT. Thank God it's today. TGIT. Thank God it's tonight. So we'll consider a different twist on TGIF, and that is trusting God is free. Trusting God is free. Think about it. What does it cost for you to be blessed with the greatest gift of the day, which is waking up? It doesn't cost you a dime. And that still makes us realize that when we move the T in TGIF from the front to the end, we get GIFT. And then we get what we should really be thanking God for, and that is thanking God for today, because every day is a gift. Gift Friday is a online sharing of one of my original poems and its possible uses to inspire audiences online or in person, and you right now. Each poem will be my gift to you. Um, will be my gift to you. As you'll hear me read it here, and then I'll share this week's gift by dropping it in the thread and giving you a link so that you can click on it and download your keepsake colorful copy, and you'll have a Sporty King collection going on. Okay. So this Friday marks the end of a challenging week in history and social justice, and hopefully more than a small step in the right direction. So I've chosen an unpublished poem of mine, which was created to challenge one of my dearest little sister mentee mentors. Her name is Shamika Poetry Thomas. Oops, make that Dr. Shamika Poetry Thomas. Because in May 2020, she defended her dissertation to earn her doctorate degree. Then in August 2020, we were having a conversation about career track and life balance, where she wanted to continue to honor her creative side. You see, we had met and bonded back in 2004 because of our mutual love for poetry during my years of working with the National Black MBA Association's conference, LOT, Leaders of Tomorrow Teenage Contingent. So what I did in August 2020 is I challenged her to write a poem about her new business direction. And then I agreed to do the same thing about mine. So this week's poem is about how I see myself and what I do. The poem is titled, Change the Language, Change the Landscape. When I focus on what I cannot or have not done, I focus on, acknowledge, and accept that I don't know what's going on. And my background's theme song becomes NAH, negativity, anger, hate. And I hear its melodic, repetitious reminder of my impending exit as surrender and failure. Na, 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye. See, your spirit can get your attention when no one else can. And talk about convincing. It'll tout its track record of chosen topics to send you to sink or swim as scum or shark. I choose to be an SHARK, sporty, having accepted Christ as King. And what he whispers to me cannot be understood by the clothed ear. You see, I'm comfortable in my nakedness because what it represents is my openness to walk through the valley of life on the path I create in his image as I was. And since I was, I now see what I am. And my samples are not concrete stop signs that keep me from going forward, but reversible weapons for me to cook up the path that tastes only as I adhere to the recipe POTS. Pause, obey, trust, stretch. And my background music becomes yeah, 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 yeah. You can make it if you try. So what I try is to avoid being the smartest person I know long enough to inhale quality advice toward merging the blessed multiplicity of my worlds, to take each world out of the box and better suit it to my fit. You see, my touch changes direction and creates the beauty of uncharted waters that allow me to wade where I would walk. As I help people appreciate and enjoy their want turn to need to control their vocabulary rather than allowing their vocabulary to control them. Thus, embracing the power of the tongue, my vision stretches to improved communication skills. Once again, unclothed and poised to benefit the relationships with those we communicate with. You see, what I focus on, when I focus on what I cannot or have not done, I focus on, acknowledge, and accept that I don't know what's going on. And my background theme song becomes NAH, negativity, anger, and hurt. This is now going back to breaking the poem down. See, I can't allow that to do that. You'll always hear me say, focus on you and let others come into focus. Or what you focus on, you ferment. You've also heard me say, faith is FAITH, feeling as if there's hope, and recognizing that the only thing you cannot do is give up. So we put both of those together, and we recognize that if you focus on what you think you cannot do, you don't know what you can. And in the movie Shaft, when Keenen Ivory Wayans, one of the jokes was that every hero has to walk around with his background music. We've heard, and you've heard me say, choose your messengers carefully, because what they say becomes music to your ears. What you listen to paves and directs your path. When you don't know what's going on, the music is negativity, anger, and hurt, all of which are reactionary emotions based on your feeling something happened to you instead of for you. And so that's why the music is surrender, a melodic, repetitious reminder of my impending exit as surrender and failure. Na, 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye. You see, you hear yourself surrender. This is what the deal is. You hear yourself surrender. And as the poem goes on, you see your spirit can get your attention when no one else can. And talk about convincing. That's what it says in the poem. Talk about convincing. It'll tout its track record of chosen topics to send you to sink or swim as scum or shark. And then I just got my creativity. I choose to be an SHARK, sporty, having accepted Christ and King as King. And what he whispers to me cannot be understood by the clothed ear. That's the line in the poem. But what I have, because I've accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior, I don't hear the negativity. And I also make sure that I'm clearly listening to his word as my guiding light with no shame, doubt, or regret. In other words, no Adam or Eve. You see, as you go on, you see, I'm comfortable in my nakedness. I'm not Adam and Eve. I'm comfortable in my nakedness because what it represents is my openness to walk through the valley of life, not the valley of death, the valley of life on the path that I create in his image as I was, because he created me in the image of himself. So that was the path that I was created in as I was. And so here's where I get creative, because then my next line is it says, not concrete stop. I create what it says, you see, I'm comfortable in my nakedness, and I take the word stop and turn it around, not create stop signs that keep me from going forward, but reversible weapons. So I reverse stop for me to cook up the path that tastes only as I adhere to the recipe. So there you see pots, but that's stop backwards. And so instead of stopping, I pause, I obey, I trust, and then I stretch. And so what I've done is I turned it around to pots as I talk about how I've managed to stay afloat for 27 years in my business so far. I know how important it is to be flexible in the moment and with the right background music. Yeah, 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 yeah. You can make it if you try. Do y'all know anything about Sly? I hope you do. Old school, I know y'all chimed in on that one. Okay, so here's a part of my recipe. And it goes in the poem. So what I try is to avoid being the smartest person I know long enough to inhale quality and advice toward merging the blessed multiplicity of my worlds to take each world out of the box and better suit it to my fit. You see, I have to know that I can't do it alone, yet understanding that I still need to not stretch myself too thin. You got a lot of different worlds that you need to pull together. You see, and so it goes on to say, you see, my touch, this is the formula. My touch creates direction and creates the beauty of uncharted waters that allow me to wade where I would walk. And here's another beautiful line about creating the landscape through your patience. You don't have to always keep moving forward. Sometimes just wade in the water. Yet always control your vocabulary rather than allowing your vocabulary to control you. And so it goes on to finish the formula by saying, thus the embracing the power of my tongue, my vision stretches to improved communication skills, once again unclothed and poised to benefit the relationships with those we communicate with. You see, I enjoy being a blessing because I've enjoyed being blessed by many who enjoyed being a blessing. That buck won't stop with me. That's why I even named my company The Top Line LLC, aimed at empowering people who realize that the top line is how I feel affects other people, because we know that the bottom line surely is how other people feel affects your business and your life. But when you embrace and understand that, guess what? You create the landscape. Change the language, create the landscape. I'm Sporty King, and this has been your Gift Friday. I'll drop that poem in the thread as soon as I can. Y'all have a safe weekend. God bless you. Over and out. Ciao.